Jai Gajanan. Welcome to the Sant Mahima podcast, where we explore the divine lives, sacred leelas, and timeless teachings of the great saints through our spiritual grants. In today's episode, we reflect on Adhyay 1 of Shri Gajanan Vijay Granth and discover the spiritual wisdom it offers for our daily lives. Imagine, it is just the absolute hottest hour of the day. The midday sun is completely blistering.
Oh, like that oppressive heat where you can't even breathe?
Exactly. Most people are staying indoors. Even the birds have, hidden themselves away in their nests just to escape the heat.
Right, nobody's out.
Nobody. But sitting out there in the dirt, peacefully picking through this pile of discarded leftover food on thrown-out plates, is a man who is about to be revealed as, well, the anchor of the spiritual universe.
Which is just an incredible image to start with.
It really is. Welcome to today's deep dive, everyone. We are unpacking a translated text today, Chapter 1 of the Gajanan Vijay Granth.
Yeah, it's a sacred biography written by an author named Dasganu.
Right, and it chronicles the life of this highly revered Indian saint, Shri Gajanan Maharaj. And I'll tell you, it throws you straight into the deep end.
Oh, completely. There is no gentle introduction here.
No glowing babies born in pristine palaces.
Yep.
Right? We are dealing with dustbins, street trash, and this really radical approach to spirituality.
It challenges pretty much all our comfortable assumptions about purity and status and, where true greatness actually comes from.
Exactly. But before we even meet the saint in the dirt, we really have to look at how the author, Dasganu, prepares himself to write the book. It's kind of a masterclass in radical humility.
It's fascinating. He doesn't just jump into the story. He gives this massive, sweeping invocation of deities and past saints.
Right. He calls upon Ganesha, the goddess Jagadamba, Panduranga, Sababa of Shirdi, his own guru, Waman Shastri, just dozens of them.
But he isn't just name-dropping to sound pious. He describes the specific, almost physics-defying powers of their blessings.
Yeah, like he says Ganesha's blessing turns massive obstructions into cotton right before a fire. Just poof, incinerated.
Right, and with Jagadamba's blessing, a deformed person can climb a mountain, or someone who can't speak suddenly becomes this master orator.
Which is wild because he's deliberately choosing scenarios where normal physical or biological laws are just completely overridden.
Exactly. He establishes right away that the spiritual power he's going to describe does not play by earthly rules. Material limitations just mean absolutely nothing.
And he applies that exact same logic to himself.
Yeah.
Right. After listing all these powers, he just shrinks himself down to nothing.
Yeah. He calls himself merely the pen.
Just the pen. I mean, a pen gets zero credit for the brilliant words it writes on a page. The credit goes entirely to the hand holding it.
Which, in our modern context, where everything is about building a personal brand and claiming credit, is just a total annihilation of the author's ego.
It's basically the ultimate form of ghostwriting. He is claiming zero copyright on his own book.
Right, and he reinforces that with this brilliant metaphor about the paras.
Oh, the stone, right?
Yeah. In this tradition, the paras is a mythical stone that instantly turns ordinary iron into gold. And Dasganu calls himself the mere iron.
Wow.
He's basically telling you, the reader, that true spiritual wisdom only flows when you get your own ego completely out of the way. If you think you are the gold, well, the transformation can never happen.
That makes the whole timing of his writing process so intriguing, because he notes that he was asked to write this biography by a man named Ramchandra Patil.
At Penarpur, right, which is a huge spiritual pilgrimage site.
Yeah, on this highly auspicious day, Kartik Ekadashi. But despite this grand commission, he deliberately saved Shri Gajanan Maharaj's story for the very end of his broader writings.
Because he compares Maharaj to the Miramani.
Right. Explain the Miramani concept, because I think that's key here.
So a japamala is a string of prayer beads used for meditation, kind of similar to a rosary. The Miramani is the central largest bead on that string.
Got it.
When you meditate and move your fingers across the beads, you actually never pass over the Miramani. It acts as the anchor for the entire string.
So by calling Gajanan Maharaj the Miramani, Dasganu is signaling that everything he has ever written before was simply leading up to this ultimate spiritual heavyweight.
Exactly. He completely humbles himself and sets the stage for this majestic entrance.
But then we get to the entrance, and the text gives us this surprisingly blank slate. I mean, Maharaj simply appears.
Yeah, it's so abrupt. The text says he appeared in Shegaon, which was a bustling trade center in the Vidarbha region.
And it gives a super specific date, too. The 7th Vairagya of the year 1800 Saka, which translates to roughly February 1878 for us.
Right, a precise historical timestamp. But then absolute silence regarding his human
It's a
origins.
huge contrast.
It really is jarring. Dasganu explicitly states that Maharaj's caste, his creed, his family, and his place of birth are entirely unknown.
He even compares him to the creator god, Brahma, right? Whose origin is inherently unknowable because he's the origin of all things.
Yes. And there's this profound quote Dasganu uses. He says, like in the case of a brilliant diamond, we should only appreciate its brilliance and not be concerned about the mine of its origin.
Okay, but I have to push back on this a little bit from a modern analytical perspective.
Sure.
Having literally zero backstory or hometown is incredibly frustrating. I mean, we are so deeply wired to want context,
Oh, absolutely. We want the origin story.
We want the LinkedIn profile, the childhood trauma that shaped them, the hometown hero narrative. Stripping all of that away, doesn't it almost feel like a convenient way to avoid historical fact-checking?
I get why it feels that way, but that frustration is exactly the worldly trap the text is exposing.
Really? How so?
Well, we use origins as shortcuts. In 19th century India, caste, family lineage, and hometown dictated almost everything about how a person was treated and valued.
That's true. And honestly, even today, we judge people by the prestige of their university or the neighborhood they grew up in.
Exactly. So by completely erasing the mine that the diamond came from, the text forces you to interact purely with the diamond's brilliance.
It forces you to look at the actions, not the resume.
Right. It detaches the saint from a specific human resume and elevates him to a universal symbol. You can't rely on societal shortcuts.
It levels the playing field completely. Though, I have to say, the text does indulge in a few wild rumors about him.
Oh yeah, people love to speculate.
People thought he might be the rebirth of Swami, this famous historical saint returning to fight corruption.
And Dasganu casually mentions that past great yogis had these bizarre, entirely non-human births to begin with.
Yeah, like Gorak born in a dustbin, or Kanifa born in an elephant's ear. I mean, an elephant's ear.
It sounds absurd, but those examples serve a specific purpose. They remind the listener that beings of this spiritual caliber are not bound by normal human biology.
A dustbin is just as valid an entry point as a royal maternity ward.
Exactly. The external packaging, the origin story, it's all completely irrelevant.
Which brings us back to that scorching midday sun in Shegaon, and the very first action we see this diamond take.
Because since we have no earthly resume, his actions carry all the weight.
And his first action completely shatters any preconceived notions of what a holy man looks like.
The physical setting of the scene is just so important for the philosophy it conveys.
So there's this pious Brahmin in town named Davidas Patukar, who just hosted a large puberty function for his son.
Right, a big feast.
The feast ends, and all the leftover food from the guests' plates is thrown outside into the dirt. Peak afternoon heat.
And sitting right there by the road is Shri Gajanan Maharaj.
Wearing a worn-out old shirt, holding just a dry gourd and a clay pipe. And he is literally picking particles of leftover food off these thrown-out plates.
Now, a normal person picking through street trash would probably look destitute or desperate, right?
Yeah, of course.
But the text describes Maharaj as having a lustrous body, a broad chest, muscular shoulders.
He looks strong.
Very strong. And crucially, his eyes are concentrated directly at the tip of his nose.
Which implies something very specific about his mental state, doesn't it?
Yes. Staring at the tip of the nose is a classic indicator of an advanced yogic trance. It shows immense internal focus.
So he's not just some desperate guy driven mad by hunger.
Not at all. He's this powerful physical and spiritual specimen, completely at peace, actively choosing to sit in the blistering heat and eat garbage.
And that contradiction completely baffles these two passersby, Bankatlal Agarwal and Damodar Pant.
They see him and realize if this guy is just hungry, he could easily knock on Davidas Paturkar's door. The host would happily feed a wandering ascetic fresh food.
But Bankatlal looks closer, sees that yogic focus, and realizes he is looking at a diamond lying in the heap of pebbles.
He recognizes the spiritual weight immediately.
So out of deep respect, the two men go to the host, request a plate of really nice fresh food and delicate sweets, and place it directly in front of Maharaj.
And his reaction to that fresh plate is really the philosophical core of the whole scene.
Yeah, because he doesn't thank them or switch to the better meal. He takes the fresh food, the sweets, the regular meal, and he just mashes it all together into one giant undifferentiated paste.
Just mixes it all up.
And then he eats it.
Yeah.
He shows zero preference between the fresh sweets and the discarded scraps. The text notes he is consuming Brahma Rasa.
Which is such a profound concept.
It really is.
Yeah.
To put it in perspective, it's like taking a Michelin star dessert, a slice of pizza, and a handful of literal dirt and throwing them into a blender because your taste buds have achieved nirvana.
That's a great way to visualize it. The external form simply doesn't matter to him. Gourmet sweet or garbage, it's all just raw energy.
So what's the underlying philosophy here?
It's the concept of non-duality, rooted in ancient texts like the Shruti and the Upanishads. They declare that the essence of the universe, Brahma, is present in all things.
Food is Brahma.
Exactly. By picking scraps out of the dirt and turning a bountiful meal into paste, Maharaj is physically demonstrating a complete detachment from earthly dualities.
Because the human mind is constantly dividing the world. Good and bad, tasty and disgusting, rich and poor.
Right. But to a mind that has realized universal oneness, those categories are just illusions. Everything is Brahma Rasa, the essence of the universe.
So he's not eating for pleasure or even survival. He's acting out the truth that all matter is ultimately equal.
Precisely.
Well, this lesson on food really pushes their understanding, but then Maharaj tests this detachment on a much more visceral, biological level. Exactly. It's one thing to mix up food, but dealing with thirst in that kind of heat is intense. Bankatlal notices Maharaj's gourd is empty, so he asks permission to fetch some clean drinking water.
And Maharaj's response here is really nuanced. He smiles and acknowledges that while Brahma doesn't differentiate, we have to follow worldly traditions.
Meaning, the physical body still biologically requires water.
Right. He acknowledges human biology without compromising his spiritual detachment. The body needs hydration, but the spirit doesn't care where it comes from.
So Bankatlal sprints off to get a clean jar of cold, safe water. But Maharaj doesn't even wait for him.
No, he gets up and walks right over to a dirty, stagnant roadside tank.
A tank specifically used for local cattle.
Yes, an unfiltered, bacteria-laden animal trough, and he just starts drinking the muddy water.
So Bankatlal comes running back with his nice cold jar, sees this, and is just absolutely horrified. He begs Maharaj to stop drinking it.
Which prompts Maharaj to deliver the ultimate revelation of the chapter.
He turns to them and says that Brahma pervades absolutely everything without any differentiation of clean or dirty.
Brahma is in the pristine water in the jar, and Brahma is in the stagnant water in the cattle tank.
And the really wild part, he says Brahma is the one drinking it.
Brahma is the one drinking it. That right there is the absolute pinnacle of non-dualistic realization. The illusion of separation is completely destroyed.
Wow.
There is no consumer, no consumed object, and no act of consuming. It's all one continuous loop of universal energy interacting with itself.
And he actually scolds the two men. He tells them they're way too caught up in their worldly attachments to see the divine everywhere around them.
It's a huge truth bomb.
It hits them like a physical force.
Yeah.
They are so overwhelmed by the truth of it that they drop to the ground to bow and prostrate themselves at his feet.
They want to show ultimate reverence.
But the second they try to worship him, Maharaj instantly turns around and runs away. The text says he runs with the speed of the wind.
He just vanishes.
It's such a striking image to me. He drops this universe-shattering philosophy. They finally get it. They try to respect him, and he just sprints away like an Olympic athlete. Why the sudden exit?
Well, his flight perfectly encapsulates the whole lesson. Think about the nature of spiritual leadership and the danger of the cult of personality.
Okay.
Maharaj is not there to build a following. He doesn't want to collect disciples or sit on a throne as some ego-driven guru.
Because if he stays and accepts their worship, he undoes everything he just taught them.
Exactly. He would be reestablishing the very duality he just spent the afternoon destroying.
Oh, I see. By accepting worship, he becomes the master, and they become the servants.
Which is a duality. It separates them. By running away, he completely rejects the pedestal. He forces them to focus on the philosophical lesson rather than worshiping the man who delivered it.
The lesson itself is the point.
Right.
And that action actually brings the entire narrative full circle, doesn't it? It connects Maharaj straight back to the author Dasganu at the very beginning of the text.
It really does. Dasganu opens the book by saying, I am just the iron, I am just the pen, do not look at me.
And Maharaj closes the chapter by essentially saying, I am just a vessel for the universe, do not worship me.
From the writer all the way to the subject, the ego is just systematically dismantled.
So, distilling this deep dive down, we've traced a pretty remarkable journey today.
We really have.
It starts with an author's ultimate humility, refusing to take credit for his own work. It moves to the sudden appearance of a saint with no earthly resume, no caste, no hometown.
A man who uses literal street garbage and dirty cattle water to prove his point.
Right, to prove that the divine exists equally in all things, totally free from our obsessive human categories of rich and poor, clean and dirty, prestigious and worthless.
And it serves as a really profound mirror for our own lives, you know? We are so easily trapped in our worldly attachment.
We really are. We judge the validity of ideas by the prestige of the person speaking them.
We judge people by their backgrounds, their clothes, their origins. But the Gajanan Vijay Granth challenges you to strip all of that away.
Can you see the divine in the dirty water? Can you appreciate the brilliance of the diamond without demanding to know the mine it came from?
That's the real question.
So look at your own daily life, your workplace, your community. Where are you currently dismissing a brilliant diamond of an idea or a person simply because you don't like the mine they came from?
It's so easy to do.
Are you so obsessed with pedigree and presentation that you're missing a profound truth sitting right in front of you? Because, as we've explored today, sometimes the most universe-shattering wisdom doesn't arrive in a pristine, comforting package.
No, it doesn't.
Sometimes it comes from a figure sitting in the dirt under the blazing sun, just waiting for you to look past your own ego. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the origins of your own judgments. Keep looking for those brilliant diamonds in unexpected places, and we will catch you next time.
As we conclude our time together today, we invoke the warm, reverent blessings of Shri Gajanan Maharaj upon you, our listener. May the timeless wisdom of the Shri Gajanan Vijay Granth bring you true peace, deep spiritual understanding, and lasting happiness.
Shubham Bhav.